So this is the intercooler I'm going to be using. What I want to do first, because it will make it a lot easier or slash possible, is take off the front bumper to see what kind of space I'm working with. If I just show you down here, this is just a standard front bumper at the moment. Just look at the rust. Oh. So I need to take the front bumper off, and therefore it's just these two screws here to take the lights off, then use a socket to take the actual bumper bolts off to each side. And don't forget these little guys here, these two screws there. So take off all of those, then the bumper will come off. Okay, that's the bumper off. They were just 12mm bolts. And let's have a look at how this intercooler goes on. So this is a very rough mock-up of the setup. I really want to try and suck this intercooler in as far back as possible. So I'd cut out the least amount of the backside of the bumper itself. This kit came with these two little brackets. Obviously I don't necessarily need to keep them, but you can see this side, I have to move that horn out of the way, not a problem. Just flip it up. So that's just coming in that side. So that will be the leading back to the air inlet. So that's the cooled air, and the pre-cooled air here, it's got a back door. It's just sitting there, and that's going to have to worm its way around to the compressor out there. So air's coming in, fresh air from outside, compressed by the compressor housing there down through the back door. The intercooler is going to cool that compressed air down, and it's going to come up, back round into the intake, and then into the engine. That's the plan anyway. Here we have it, just spun the horn around there. So then I've got a route for the air out of the intercooler. Either way, I think I'm not going to do any more on that yet, because I'm just going to take all the old, or when I say all of it, just this bit of the NA pipe routing for the intake, and then I'm just going to see what's in the box of all the air piping I've got in there. I haven't even unwrapped it yet, and let's just see what I've got to make up the kit, and that will decide where I put the intercooler and everything else. Right, so this is the extremely rough mock-up, and just to kind of show you the things I'm going to have to do to get this kit on. So obviously before you saw the intercooler just on the cardboard box, and this just goes to show the kind of piping I've got to work with in the kit. And you can see here there's the compressor outlet, and goes straight to that pipe. That pipe's obviously going to be a lot further up like that, and it's got a back door there, so I think that's going to be something like, worm this through this box now. It's going to be something like, I can't do it because I'm going to have to I've got to basically cut a hole in here. It's going to be something like that. Comes out here through the intercooler, then goes to this pipe here with the bellows, and then up through here. I've got to cut another hole and move this wiring out the way. You can see there's already kind of a hole in the factory that's obviously not big enough to have this pipe going through it. That comes up there, and then this goes into the intake manifold. So it's not exactly too difficult really. This is the blow off valve, by the way. This is the Turbo Smart V-Port Pro. Okay. So yeah, it's not too bad. The only other thing I'd say is that I've got the screamer pipe here that I think I'm going to want to feed back into the exhaust. We'll see how we get on. And then this is the exhaust down pipe as well, which I think I'm going to just sit in place just to see, because these are obviously going to have to go on. I want to see what kind of space I've got on the routing of it and everything. This is the down pipe. Obviously a bit short of where it needs to connect up to, but really not a big issue. It's already got the flexi there as well. So I need to get that modified, and this is the I guess screamer pipe. I think I want to get that morphed back into the downpipe so it doesn't like spit flames and whatever. Kind of just placed it on roughly where it's going to be. You can see here, this is where it's going onto the throttle body, so it needs to be in line with that. I can cut this down and move this along the pipe a bit, but it's going to be around here. Obviously this is the chassis leg, I'm not going to cut into that. I just want to go into the sheet metal there to the side. There's already a hole there started off for me, so if I take this out of the way for now, you can see where I need to cut. I'll just finish that circle there and then get snipping. There we have it, that's the hole I'm going for. And let's just see, it's not very thick metal. I'm just going to go in with the tin snips, make some cuts, and then try and make it as neat a job as possible. And file it all down afterwards. You can see here I've made these little cross cuts here, got my circle here roughly, and I'm going in here. Sometimes you can get in below and sometimes I'm getting in from above, but you see what I'm trying to do, and then I'm just going to neaten the whole thing up with a file once I've done. Right, we're outside, it's hot, I've made myself some cut off shorts out of some tracksuit bottoms, and then here we've got the hole there, it's looking pretty good. We're kind of in the middle. I cut out with those tin snips and then just neaten the whole thing up with a file. No power tools, just because you want to go steady on this and try and make it, if you can, nice. So looking okay there. Next thing we need to do is cut another hole. And the hole is in here, and that's for the pipe. But I think maybe next I'll see if I can mount up the intercooler after attaching the other pipe to the bottom of here. So there's a pipe that goes from here round to the intercooler, so I'll put that one on there and then attach that one, and then we'll see where the intercooler goes. You see here's the pipe leading to the intercooler. There's a lot of movement on here at the moment, so that's why everything's loose. I just wanted to see if I can mock everything up kind of as it is. Just tighten this one up. So how this hole's sitting, I think I need to take some off the front here to give us a bit more clearance. This is the pipe, the intercooler. What's jacking this forward at the moment is because this pipe's coming from the intercooler here, and we need to take some metal out here. Andy quite rightly suggested that maybe we just take this bit off here and don't touch this spar, because it's actually a bit more structural than this little thin bit of metal here. Also, I've noticed that this intercooler is kind of sitting on this bar, so I think what I can do is push the bar back a bit and gain a bit more space that way. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll take it all off, I'll get a bit more space there first, and then push this bar back. So this pipe's in here. I think we can still cut some length out of here that will move the pipe over a bit, but it's pretty much where it needs to be. This pipe down here, it's like that, and then the intercooler has got more space because I bent this ready to support back, and then these are just hooked on there like that. And then we get to the point down here, we need to cut a hole for this intercooler pipe to pass through, and so I think it's going to be, it's hard to say exactly where it's going to be, but it's going to be roughly where this silver pen is here. So this is how I'm doing it, probably a bit Mickey Mouse. I'm using the tin snips and I'm basically just cutting lines up to the circle, and then I'm either gonna try and cut round, which I don't know if I can. I might be able to there, but it gets a bit tight there, or I'm just going to use the pliers and then bend it back and forwards to break off each of these bits around there. Just put the intercooler back. You can see I need to remove a bit more of this bottom lip there and a bit on the inside there. I've actually cored this whole area out. Then I've got the intercooler on here. Pop it in that side. Put it in here. now it's got a lot of space to the job. Now this, if you point down here, and see this coupler here, this coupler is a 50mm to a 65. It's actually a bit tight, so I think we need a 50mm to a 70mm ID, and that will make this whole thing come together a lot more. The turbo oil drain isn't ideally situated really, because really it wants to be more up and down. So
what could happen?
Well, it's just not very good for, you can see even more if you look at the oil feed, but it's the oil drain. They're like, say the oil feed is at 12 o'clock and the oil drain's at 6 o'clock, and I think you're allowed, I might have to check, but I think you're allowed 15 degrees or something like that. Now this car isn't actually level to the ground, but you can certainly see it's not level to the block where that's coming in. So I think what we need to do, see, it's not actually hitting on there directly, but it is hitting here on the block. So if I turn it more, see here, it is hitting on the block a bit.
Get your finger out there.
Yeah. There. So I think we need a little bit more off the block. So I'll shave the block down a bit more, and that will allow us to. You can see even how it is now is better, but I think we need to shave a bit more off the block just so that we can get the turbo in a happier place. And then I'm going to order that coupler as well. And in terms of the intercooler, I think what I'll do is I'll just drill some holes in these bits of metal, and these can go through here with the holes that we already have from the factory, and I'll just drill right the way down through this structure and just put a washer and nut, and that will hold it. I mean, really the intercooler is being held by all the pipe works anyway, so this is just, you obviously you can't just have it by the pipes, but this will be a good job. We'll just go straight through there, and then we're looking pretty good. So next jobs will be take the turbo off again. I'm just going to mark up where I need to take a bit more off the front of the block, and yeah, we're looking good here. You can see down here, so we're looking good there. If anything, it's going to start to hit the back of the light if I move that much more, but I've got a lot of adjustability there. Nothing's tight yet, and we haven't even cut any of the pipes or anything. This is just how the whole thing came. Oh, we had to move this out the way a bit as well. I need to redo this anyway, but I've just bent that again a bit out the way, and yeah, we'll keep on going. So I've still got the aim to rotate this whole compressor housing a little bit more, although it doesn't look too bad now. It's actually butted up right next to, I'll zoom in a bit, you can see just there, or even better if I go below, just there, it's just hitting the compressor housing. I want to be able to rotate it maybe a tiny bit more, at least have a bit more clearance. So I'm just going to notch this a little bit more, and I'll be able to then move the whole compressor housing around as I want. Okay, so now I'm much more comfortable with where the turbo drain is. So I'm just using my phone. I realise it's not the best way, but whatever. To the side of the block, and I'm calling that 0. And then if I just show you, this is really going to be a Mickey Mouse way of doing it, but it says I've got about 11 degrees, 12 degrees, and you're allowed maximum 15. And if I put that up to there, I can get it down to like 7, but it's getting very close then to here. But either way, I know that I can get to a good point here. It's not going to be anything over 15 degrees anyway, so that's good news. I'm pretty happy with that. Now I just need to work out everything else really. So probably the next thing would be I'm waiting on these extra fittings, so for the silicon couplers, because this one's actually a bit small, it has a hard time getting over that intercooler back door.